Making It Work is brought to you by Wealthsimple, which gives everyone access to simple, affordable investing on cruise control.
Everyone has strategies to make their groceries cheaper. If you're a coupon clipper, a person who shops in bulk, or a person who chooses vegetarian meals to avoid expensive meat, you know some of the biggest tricks for grocery shopping well. But it seems that while some people benefit from these suggestions, others don't. Coupons just aren't their style, or there's no wholesale club nearby, or they simply don't want to give up meat. My challenge to myself was a bit cart before the horse. I told myself that I wanted to cut my grocery budget in half, without providing a single way to do so. I also wanted to continue the healthy eating habits we'd set for ourselves after completing the Whole30 diet earlier this year. I don't know if this goal-first, methods-later approach would work for others, but this is how it ended up looking in my life. By the numbers. My husband and I spent an average of $430 a month on groceries before the challenge. We needed to get the grocery budget down to $215. I succeeded, came in a few bucks under even, but not without really examining the way I shop for food. Looking at the list of suggested foods in my grocery store shopping plan application on my phone, I was able to identify some specific things we no longer bought, including alcohol, a reduction from a bottle of wine or a six-pack every week to every other week. For the month, buying less alcohol at home saved us $34. Meat. We still bought this, but I didn't add it to every meal, and I tried to stretch meat more than I had in the past. I tried to use eggs more often since a serving of them was cheaper than a serving of meat in most recipes. This was a reduction of about $25, but I did use frozen meat from before this month a couple of times. Bread and snacks. I love eating bread, but I realized that we had plenty of rice, quinoa, and lentils in the pantry gathering dust that we could use instead of bread almost everywhere in our meals. I also find that if I don't have snacks in the house, I just don't eat as much between meals. So that was a more zero-sum game. No more pretzel crisps, sadly, for this month. A total reduction of $17. As you can see, this didn't add up. We didn't get enough savings from simply cutting things to make the $215 happen. Instead, I tried a bunch of mental tricks on myself. Number 1, I used an online shopping cart. I really hate picking something up in a store only to end up putting it back on the shelf. However, I have no problem adding something to my online cart and then deleting it. So my shopping planning app was essential before any trip to the store. The prices of things were right there, so I could dither about whether I wanted something or not, look back at recipes I wanted to use that week, and invariably put some things back on the shelf before even entering the store. Number 2, I had caveats. Once I was able to plan most of my purchases, I planned the things I wasn't sure about in a different way. I knew that I ate too much cheese, and my grocery often has half-priced, fancier cheeses available. So I ended up listing check for half-price fancy cheese. If there is one on half-price sale, I can get it. But if not, I will get no cheese at all. Number 3, I left some wiggle room in my list. Instead of specific ingredients, I would write 2 salad veggies, or 2 stir-fry veggies, or pick up a starch. If potatoes, sweet potatoes, pasta, or quinoa is on sale, I can choose that. Or if there's some bell peppers in the less pretty veggie tray on sale, I have the flexibility to choose those. I always have a plan, but there's wiggle room in it. Number 4, I made a few rules that help me avoid some of the biggest temptations toward higher spending. For instance, I'm not allowed to purchase nuts, given their astronomical costs lately. I can't purchase meat that costs more than $1.50 per portion, etc. These rules don't work for everyone, but you may note that you often repeat the same impulse purchases. I often buy pre-made frozen foods that are just a little bit on sale as just-in-case options. So having a rule against them for the month helped me to avoid things that normally pull me in. Number 5, I 100% cheated. I still advocate for just using things you already have, which is technically cheating. For the past month, I raided the pantry for cans of soup and packages of pasta and anything else that could make a meal. It meant I didn't get quite as many fresh veggies as was ideal. I still did okay, though, since we've got a bonkers quantity of salad greens in our garden. Another excellent grocery spending cheat. However, canned goods and other staples go bad eventually. So I turned the extreme frugality into a time to rotate out some of those items before they went bad. This obviously isn't a cheat you can use if you're eating through your cupboards every month. That might be a sign that you aren't buying too much food, but instead buying food that is too expensive, or you're already as frugal as possible. I think our problem is that when we see something that we might use on sale, we get it and then save it forever. We needed to stop that for a while, and I'm betting some of you could stand to do so too. All in all, I'm glad I survived the grocery bill challenge. I want to both keep our spending lower than our previous $430 in the future, as well as do this more extreme challenge again at some point, just to get creative again.
Spending less on budget categories like groceries may be a lot easier when you have a specific goal in mind for that money you end up saving. And with a company like Wealthsimple, you can use that savings to finally start investing in the future you want. Wealthsimple is online investing that's as simple and human as it gets. In just 5 minutes, they'll build you a custom portfolio to fit your personal goals and timeline. Just answer a few easy questions and they'll manage your money for you on autopilot. Set it, forget it, and let your money grow in the background. You can turn on automatic deposits as well as set up a smart savings account with higher rates than big banks for your shorter-term goals, your wedding, your next great adventure, or that handbag you need. They also have a socially responsible portfolio that invests in green stocks and companies that support gender diversity. The fees are much lower than big banks, and TFD viewers will get their first $10,000 managed for free with no minimum deposit. Check them out at wealthsimple.com/TFD or use the link in our description. There are no account minimums, and it only takes a few minutes to start. No excuses.